Hello everyone, we are here at MTAC Dueling Dragons. I am very excited for our guest today, Tiana Camacho. Tiana, how are you doing? Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. I'm just vibing right now, you know. It's a chill day.
Yeah.
I don't have all that much planned for the rest of the day, so I'll just be over in autographs doing my thing.
Awesome. Well, I like to start these out, with the typical kind of, question, which is, what are some things that you've been working on that you can share with us? We understand.
That's a great question.
For discussion, so.
Well, Fallout 76 just had a new expansion, and one of my characters is in it. Her name is Frida Lane. She helps take care of the municipal stuff in Atlantic City. She's very, very different from my natural voice in terms of characters I tend to portray because she's a little bit older. So I had a lot of fun with her. That's out. So if you play Fallout 76, get the new expansion. It's going to be a blast. There's a lot of really fun stuff planned. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, let me ask, what made you first take an interest in acting?
Well, when I was little, I was hyperlexic. So I was reading on a first, second grade level in kindergarten and in pre-K. So what happened was I would go to the library because it was around the corner from my house. So because I was always in the library and I was always reading, I would be exposed to a lot of different kinds of stories. So storytelling was something that I really wanted to do. And when I was at the library, I would also read to the younger kids at the library that maybe weren't at my level of reading comprehension, but wanted someone to read things to them. So I would read to kids that were a little bit younger than me in the library. And I started realizing that I really like telling stories with my voice, and I really like having fun and making kids happy. It is what it is. And, the library to me is a very sacred, safe space. So I'm very passionate about also funding for our libraries and things like that. Because if I didn't have the library, I wouldn't be here today. Eventually, because I started reading everything, I started reading the credits and shows and stuff like that. And I realized, it's the same 5 people voicing everything. Because it was the 90s. You got your same 5 or 6 people. And I started listening for them from show to show to show and recognizing their timbre and their vocal characteristics and everything. And I'd be like, oh, I think I hear Tress. Oh, I think I hear Kath Soucie. Oh, I think I hear Mary Kay Bergman. I think I hear Cree Summer. And then after a while, I started just getting really good at listening, being able to discern and being good at storytelling. So I knew when I was around 8, I wanted to be a voice actor, definitely. It's just what I've always wanted to do.
I think that's very relatable in that sense of, and I was talking about this with Signal and Cho earlier today, about how we do hear those voices, we start to recognize them, and we want to connect with the characters, but the characters aren't real, so kind of the next best thing is learning to connect with the people who do the voices and learning more about them.
Yeah.
What kind of stories do you find yourself drawn to?
That's a good question. I really love stories that really speak to the indomitable spirit of the human condition and things that are very visceral. I feel like that's why I gravitate towards Ermes a lot, because there's this sense of not even vindictiveness, because when we think of being vindictive or we think of being vengeful, we have this whole idea that it's this horrible thing, but when you really look at it, she's just a very sane woman who is responding adequately to a given set of circumstances to avenge her sister. There's a lot of people who would definitely do what she did. And, her whole arc and Kiss of Love and Revenge is very near and dear to me because of that. So anything that's about overcoming adversity too. I have a Starfield character like that I'm very, very attached to. Sophia Grace. And I feel like she illustrates that example very, very well. And just this whole idea that the human condition can transcend all things if you just let it and you nurture it and you do what you can to build a better world.
Who would you say has had the biggest impact on your career?
Probably my agent. Yeah, honestly, yeah. Because if I didn't have them, I wouldn't have the work that I have. So I owe a lot to my agents at Atlas. They take excellent care of me.
Shout out to the agents.
Thank you, Heather, and everyone who's thank you, Heather. Thank you, Jai. Thank you, everyone. I'm shouting you out in this interview. You're all awesome. Thank you.
So, anime characters often have complex emotions and unique personalities. How do you approach bringing these characters to life through your voice acting, especially when they may differ significantly from your own personality?
Well, even if we have differences in personality, we still may have similarities in lived experience, and things like that I can easily latch onto and be like, well, I understand where they're coming from because of X, Y, and Z. I think to be a good actor is just to be a good liver of life and to know yourself and have a certain set of, I guess, lived experiences that inform the way you move throughout the world, but also be self-informed about it. Like really observing the self first before knowing how you can change aspects of it to portray someone else, I think is very, very important. You can't really portray anyone else if you don't know yourself and you're able to free yourself. You know what I mean? So for characters that are just different from me, I make it more of a lived experience thing as opposed to a personality thing. And then I can understand and justify the things that they do and then move from that direction.
Fans of anime are often deeply passionate and invested in the characters that they love. How do you navigate the relationship between yourself as the voice actor and the fan base, especially when there may be differing interpretations or expectations of your character's voice?
That's a good question. Well, I think a lot of people project their own expectations of certain things onto stuff. For example, I remember when I did Pokémon, I saw fan comments saying that the voice was too deep. But if you watch the original Jay, her voice is actually indistinguishable from Ash's, or rather Satoshi in the Japanese version. I don't let people's expectations of me or how I sound play into the characters that I play. What only matters to me is what did the original Japanese actor do? Not how they sounded, what did they do? How did they live in that experience? Obviously translated to me for context. What were they doing moment to moment? And how can I replicate the circumstances in which I am also moment to moment with my characters? As for the fan base, I love nearly every fan I've interacted with in terms of just understanding the impact my work has on people. I do not understand people who genuinely don't like other people or they don't want to interact with people and then they go from con to con to con interacting with fans, because it's like you could literally be doing anything else. I like coming to cons and I like meeting people and I like meeting and understanding the impact that my work has. It makes me understand why I ended up in this industry to begin with. And I don't ever want to lose sight of that. There is a story I'm willing to tell, but there's a slight trigger warning. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was doing a con, it might have been Colossal Con, many, many ages ago, and there was a girl that came up to my table. She had to be about in between the ages of 13 and 15, roughly that age group. And she asked for a censored version of my Cells at Work print. I have a Cells at Work Code Black print, my character in Code Black, right? It's just one of the two twin blood cells. She's really cool. And I have one that's covered in a lot of blood, but maybe, you live in a household with children and you want to have it framed, so I have a censored version of it. So she asked for the censored version, which is very uncommon. And then she asked if I wanted a rubber duck. And I was like, heck yeah, I love rubber ducks. What are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah, let's do it. And she was like, I'm celebrating the first year since the last time I self-injured, and I haven't done it for over a year, so I want to celebrate that with other people. And I want to celebrate that with you by offering you one of my ducks. And I keep that duck with me. Because when things get hard, and there's a lot of rejection in this industry, and there's a lot of just BS you got to deal with, you have to understand why you're actually here, and it's for these people, you know? It's for people like that need stories like this told so that they can go about their life and function, you know? Storytelling is kind of like, it's like the art of medicine in a way. You're healing people through art. And there is a saying that I do agree with. Art is meant to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable, you know? That's what good art is supposed to do. And if I'm out there making good art and people are connected to it in such a way that they're willing to share something like that with me, then absolutely I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing with my life right now. And it doesn't matter if other people may find it trivial. It doesn't matter if other people may look at it, it's like, but it's just dubbing. And it's like, no, but it means so much more to that, to so many other people. And I can't ever lose sight of that. And that duck is on my nightstand in my apartment. I keep that duck there to remind me of what I'm here to do. So if the person who handed me that duck is listening to this podcast, thank you for sharing your moment with me so that I could carry it with me and realize that I'm doing exactly what I meant to do.
You know, I think that's incredible.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah, very much. I usually ask guests what it is that keeps them motivated, because as you alluded to, it is a field, it is an occupation where you face a tremendous amount of rejection, even if you're, considered relatively successful.
Yeah.
You book a role for every 10, 20, 50, 100 that you don't get. And it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of courage to go through that. And so it's always interesting to hear everyone's stories about what drives them. And so I really do appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you.
Just kind of on that same note about what keeps you motivated, when you're not working, what feeds your soul?
D&D. D&D and sleep. And sometimes other tabletop. Sometimes.
What other tabletops have you played?
Vampire the Masquerade.
Okay, we just started.
I love Goth Yahtzee. It's my favorite sport. It's amazing.
We just started a Cyberpunk campaign, and it's been a lot.
Sweet.
Yeah, Cyberpunk Red's a very fun system.
Nice. Okay.
Lots of D6s though.
Yeah. Lots of D6s.
Understand. I love White Wolf to death, but just having a bunch of D10s and I can't.
I mean, because even in the system we're playing, it's if anything needs to go over 10 or 6, they're just roll 2 D6.
Yeah, I've been doing Triangle Agency because a friend of mine actually designed that. It's pretty fun.
That's awesome.
It's corporate horror, which is
different. Isn't everything corporate kind of a horror show?
Yes, that's why I don't work there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Along those lines, what's something that you love to talk about but you are convinced everyone is tired of hearing you talk about it?
I don't know. That's hard to say because honestly, I'm a pretty insular person. It's not like I don't like people. It's just that I show parts of myself to certain people. It's very much like we all kind of wear masks a little bit when we're out in the world, and how you talk to a nun who's a stranger is different than how you talk to your mom, which is different from how you talk to a sibling or your friend or coworker, Relationships kind of drive everything. I feel like as a person, it's not that I'm necessarily guarded. It's just that I'm very, very, very hypervigilant of everything I do and say. I don't know. I've been posting lots of my Instagram story because I'm trying to be more active on Insta. I don't know. Maybe that. Maybe power metal. I'm always trying to get power metal played at events. It's kind of cringe. Yeah, he knows what I'm talking about. I guess he
Beyond.
gets it. Tim gets it.
What is the most challenging thing for you as an actor?
Meeting myself where I am and being okay with it enough to let it live behind the mic. That is hard. That is difficult. And it's not like you have to work really hard and be emotionally naked and all this other stuff that professors will tell you, which will just deter you from doing the thing. You're like, I don't know about that. I have a bone to pick with a lot of theater training and a lot of acting training because I come from an acting directing focus in an accredited university. That's how I got, my training. And then I branched it into voiceover and I did what I had to do. So, I don't know. That's pretty wild. Kind of lost my train of thought there. Sorry.
That's okay.
On that same note, left or right Twigs?
Don't do that to me.
Mike or Ike?
Ike. Left.
Yeah,
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, I'm a leftist. I'm not gonna lie.
Same.
Not gonna lie to you kids.
Left Twix is superior. I
Yeah.
follow the left Twix path.
That's right. Half of the left twigs.
Yeah.
Sounds equivalent to I studied the blade.
Left twigs is the way.
This is the way.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. I feel blessed.
Yeah.
I had a
absolutely.
chocolate, so I'm now in an excellent
You've
mood.
been blessed by
Thank
the
you.
Easter patrons of the Awesome Cast. And
Thank you,
Side
Easter
Quest podcast.
patrons. But yeah, let's continue with the interview questions while I just
yeah, just snack away. Also, if you need something to wash it down there,
I
you
feel
know,
like
we can
I'm
get you
having-
Gatorade or something. You know,
I'm having an artisanal chocolat right now.
that's right.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything.
Do you have a favorite Easter candy? No, just any of it.
Yeah,
There's something special about those chocolate bunnies, though.
you are correct.
Hollow or solid?
Hollow.
Either way, you put them in the freezer.
Oh.
It's perfect the day after Easter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's perfect the day after Easter. Easter candy prices.
I agree.
You gotta hit those stores on Monday, kids. Get you some Cadbury mini eggs,
What are the malt balls?
like the robin eggs.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the robin eggs. Oh,
Because it like there's a lot of other candy that they just reform in different shapes for holidays.
Yes.
But Easter though has like Cadbury eggs, robin eggs
pretty.
that you don't get
Yeah,
other times of the year.
correct.
So pretty.
Like egg-shaped Reese's cups, whatever.
Yeah.
But like
What's
actual.
inside this egg? What is happening? I can't see it. Frick. It's just really pretty, sorry.
That's okay.
Pretty egg. Okay.
What have we got in this one?
I'm about to find out. Hold. Twix! Sorry, I love Twix.
Only the left one.
Yeah.
All Twix are sacred.
See, I was gonna guess, but I also have the unfair advantage of knowing what went into those. So
A.
You called it.
Yep. How do you feel about Peeps?
Why?
Because they're garbage, in my opinion.
Exactly.
There you go.
I'm glad that that's settled because I don't think that should be a hot take.
It's not a hot take. I don't understand how they
It's a
stay in
lukewarm
business.
take at best. I don't know what you're talking about.
My wife is a vehement lover of Peeps. I don't
I
understand.
can't do it. Like I
Neither
can't.
can I.
Like granulated sugar covered marshmallows. Like you can't even toast them.
And she's also was like she doesn't eat cake, brownies, cookies. She doesn't like sweets. But then she gets the most.
But she likes the most vile sweet.
I agree.
Have you considered that maybe your taste in sweets is just bad?
I know it definitely is.
Listen, Matt's wife, I don't know you, and I'm sure you're a lovely human being.
But that is her worst quality,
Yeah,
though.
I was gonna say, I think your top trade is that you're garbage when it comes to picking out sweets.
100%. I mean, she's great, but that is the worst thing about her.
If that's the worst thing about her, like, that's a pretty...
Yeah, it works out well.
I feel like you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, me too.
Just letting Tiana play with your chocolate.
I'm doing my happy food dance. Ask me another question. I know you have more. It's okay. There we go.
All right. So... Anime often involves voicing characters that are part of a larger cultural context. How do you ensure authenticity and respect for the cultural nuances of the characters you portray, especially if they come from backgrounds that differ from yours?
Simple. Google is free. Google is free. If you don't understand what a character's saying or why, Google it. It takes you 5 minutes on your phone, and it's free. You don't even have to ask people anything. You just Google things now. That's it. You want to know how to say a word that's in a language? Google it. For real. How hard is that?
This woman grew up reading books to kids in libraries, and she's like, just Google it, kids.
Yeah, just Google it. It's not hard.
Just put in a little bit of work.
The smallest bit.
5 minutes of your time. I will say... Well, it's very interesting for me because a lot of my characters tend to either be Black or Latina because I'm mixed race and Latina, specifically of Black descent. What often happens to a lot of actors of color in particular is that once they find out you're of color, that's all you get auditions for. And then it's really hard to break out of that. I remember I kept really mum about my background when I moved. And then I was just like, it shouldn't matter. It's just a voice anyway, you know? And in theory, yeah, it shouldn't matter. Because it shouldn't, you know? But then people started to realize, oh, wait, you're this? All right, well, I'll call you when I need this then. Bye. And then it's like a whole bunch of doors shut on me once people were finding out. Yeah. So then I only started getting auditions for those things. And a lot of my characters tend to be like race blind, right? Because it's like, what race is a Decepticon? Like, be for real. It's a robot, you know? Like, it shouldn't matter. I've been Pegasi, I've been mermaids, I've been robots. And again, it should not really matter in the cultural context of whatever, but there is still an inequity specifically because of the fact that once casting directors or somebody wisens up to the fact that you fit that specific niche, they're going to keep you there, and it's very hard to break out of that. And I've experienced that firsthand. Absolutely. Because I was like, well, if anyone asks, I'll let them know, but I don't really think it's anybody's business. And then all of a sudden, yeah, I didn't get a lot of auditions anymore. It's like, hey, do you want to voice this character or that character? So it's hard. It's hard to break out of, depending. It depends on also the cultural climate of where you're working, right? There's that too. These things are unique to specific markets for a specific reason. And that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles a little bit. But, you know, the reason why there's a push for authenticity in casting specifically is because of the fact that it is an unspoken rule that that's all we really get access to. So when someone else is in that space, if they could have been literally anything else and they ultimately get more opportunities than we do on a regular basis, that's when people get angry. That's specifically why. If we lived in a world where that didn't matter, and we lived in a world where everybody got to audition for anything regardless and be equally considered, then it would be a non-issue, honestly. And it should be a non-issue. But unfortunately, it is because we don't live in an ideal world yet. And because we don't live in an ideal world yet, we don't have equal access to auditions for people of color yet. So once that's fixed, and once that's whatever, then the taboo about the whole, like, person who's not of color voicing someone of color, that whole taboo will absolutely go away once we fix that problem. Once that problem's fixed, it won't even matter anymore. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. Honestly, like...
Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're welcome.
Because it needs to be said, it needs to be heard.
Yeah.
Like, your background and your lived experience, those should be, you know, for lack of a better term, that should be a bonus. That should be a plus. That should be something that helps you with the role as opposed to something that excludes you from everything else.
And not just that, but there's other characters that I relate to who are considered default race or white or whatever, and I relate more to their lived experiences too. Like,
Sure.
if you relate to a character's lived experience truthfully, and the story isn't about specifically a specific cultural ethnicity or anything like that, then it should technically be fair game for everyone involved, but we're not there yet. So we are doing a little bit of an overcorrection so that we can kind of swing back in the middle and be like, okay. So that's kind of how it is right now.
Thank you so much. You've shared a lot of yourself with us today, and I really do appreciate that.
Anything.
All right. Well, thank you, Tiana. This has been wonderful. We're going to let you get on with your con experience, get on with your candy. And again, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to yet another production of the OSMcast, your podcast for everything awesome. You can find us online at awesomecast.com, OSMcast.com, or, wherever you find your podcasts, just search for OSMcast. You can also find us on the social medias, OSMcast at Twitter or on Facebook. Of course, you can also find our wonderful interview guru, the greatest living interviewer, John Robbins, at J5 is Live. Or perhaps you'd like to follow our amazing editor, Anna, at Angel Darkfire, or just me at It's Basil Time on Twitter. Our theme song is produced by DJ Inabito, and you can find him online at djinabito.com. And once again, thanks for listening to the OSMcast. We appreciate you.